everybody. Welcome to Frontline Football, where I am slowly losing my will to keep watching the Texans. Because every single week they come up with something more that they gotta do to hurt me even more. Which is very sad. Because I've supported them through thick and thin, but this is a really hard season to support them through when they get shut out one week and then choke a lead the next week. So this is gonna be a hard season. The Jags team is also bad, so we'll get to go through having bad teams together. Which is still very sad for both of us. But hey, at least we get high picks in the draft. Yippee. Welcome to Frontline Football, your one place for news, rumors, updates, and highlights. And make sure to stay tuned for this one because we have a really... You've probably seen from the intro, or probably seen from the title card, whatever that is. So, let's stop beating around the bush and get right into the news and let's roll.
Oh, true. Welcome guys to Frontline Football. We're going to talk about news for a change. So, first news is for Jack. What is it about?
So the first story of the day is Marcus Maye apparently wants to trade to a contender. I'll open this up because I am the Marcus Maye professional around here. So basically this started a couple months ago when Marcus Maye wanted a contract extension. Similar to another safety from the New York Jets that played well and wanted a contract extension. A little different but similar. And the GM said, nope, that's too much money for someone like you. Franchise tag. And then Maye was very mad about the franchise tag. And then the Jets traded Sam Darnold, who he really liked. Then he got even madder. Then they cut his friend in the secondary, so it made him even madder. And now he wants to trade. So basically, his teams are the Bucs and the Rams. A mock trade, I could see a third or a fourth round pick maybe for Maye. Things to consider though is Maye was just caught with a DUI, so trade value plummeting. He's also 30, looking for $12 million a year, which is pretty expensive for an above-average safety, but he is getting older and he's only going to regress, so locking him up is going to be only for a committed contender. So it does make sense for the Jets to break this off because realistically, by the time the Jets are ready to contend, if they even are in 2 and 3 years, he'll be out of his prime and it will be too late. So it makes sense for him to get shipped out. Now, some trade packages I've thought about is maybe just a straight-up trade of O.J. Howard. Once Gronk gets back from the Bucs, the Jets have horrible tight ends, and that could be something they do with both being on a contract year. We could also just see draft capital exchange for a team looking to get over the top, like the Rams, who lost John Johnson in free agency to the Browns, and the Bucs, who lost all their safeties to injuries. But as a whole, expect Maye to be traded. Expect him to be traded by the deadline. I don't think he sticks around for the Jets. It really doesn't make sense for either side of the situation. Expect him to get shipped out to a contender at some point. Hopefully for a starting tight end and a pick. Most likely, though, a pick. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think that, especially with Maye being 30 and the Jets rebuilding again, I think that it's better if they just cut their losses. I think that the GM of the Jets will be able to get a team to fall to his demands and will do something like he did with the Jamal Adams trade. And it's going to be really exciting to see how this goes down, but I think that Maye is basically done as a New York Jet and will be moving on to greener pastures very soon. Zach?
I think that I might go to the Rams because, of course, every single freaking NFC West team wants the Jets safeties. It happened with the Seahawks with Jamal Adams. It will happen with Marcus Maye to the Rams because they lost John Johnson. They'll probably trade... Jack, you could get a first-rounder out of them. They always love to give out first-rounders, so maybe you'll get a Rams first-rounder. That'll be fun. I think they'll give you like a second, though, because they're not too good with trading. They just want the players to win now, so they might give you a first. I think what Jack said, they need tight end help, or they can get a first-rounder from the Rams, so whatever they feel like. All right, our next story is John Gruden getting fired. Josh, can you take this away?
I will. But first, I'm going to say these stats on what has been found out about John Gruden's emails. There were 142 emails. 76 slurs were used. 15 groups were offended, and he was forced to resign. Might I also say that there is another story happening that is saying that Gruden is removed from the Ring of Honor from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this man's life is just falling apart. He used more racial slurs in the Call of Duty lobby in 2020, and now he's paying the price for it. So, I'll start us off. I really think that he's going to find a job somewhere else because he is John Gruden. Now, will that fan base be happy with him? No, because he just used 76 slurs and offended 15 groups of people that we know of. Because remember, this is only the emails that we know of. Think about what's hidden that we don't know of. So, this is a really bad look for the Raiders. This is a really bad look for John. And just a really bad situation all around. So, this kind of even hurts to talk about because I didn't really think we'd have to talk about this on Frontline Football. But we do. And I'm going to hand it off to Zach for his take.
I think it's really bad what John Gruden did. I don't get what the Raiders are going to do now because their owner is in debt right now. And he can't pay another head coach. He gave John Gruden a 10-year deal. So, I don't really know what the Raiders are going to do. Now, Gruden will find another job. I don't know where, though. So, yeah. Hopefully, Gruden can get back on his feet. I know a lot of people are not saying that, but, he's not the best person, but anybody deserves a second chance. So, hopefully, Gruden gets his second chance in the league. Jack?
I'm going to talk about it and how it hurts, gonna hurt the Raiders. Because this is kind of a disaster for them. They kind of bet everything on Gruden. $10 million a year, 10 years, $100 million, ownership stakes. This team is Gruden's team. He handcrafted this. He had, final say on personnel control. He handcrafted this chaos mess team that somehow worked for the most part the first 5 weeks of football. And now it's all gone. I don't know what this means for Mike Mayock because I don't know how much control Gruden had. I don't know what it means for Derek Carr. And if you're the Raiders, you have to decide on what you do here. Do you get a head coach and you just reload, run it back with Derek Carr, Darren Waller, attempt to rebuild your defense a little more and try to just win with the current core? Or do you have to blow it all up because most of it's in Gruden's vision and have to restart and build it up through Mayock's vision? But overall, messy situation for the Vegas Raiders. They have some interesting choices they have to make this offseason.
All right, our next story, well, it's not even a story, it's just an injury update. We're bringing it back, because there's been a crap ton of injuries. Now, let's start it off with Russell Wilson. He had a thumb injury, or he had a finger injury, okay? Saquon Barkley, his ankle's horrible. Daniel Jones is, oh my, oof. Frank Ragnow, Clyde Hilaire, Kenny Galladay, Juju Smith-Schuster's out for the season, and Taysom Hill. So those are just a few. Jack, do you want to say that the ones that will affect the teams the most?
Yes. Basically, Russell Wilson injury is clearly the biggest one on here. The Seahawks are not perfect, to say the least, in a lot of areas that Russell Wilson was sort of able to sweep under the rug and paint over because he was so good for the most parts. But now that's not going to happen as much. You have a month with Geno Smith, and it's in the NFC West. So can you survive in the playoff hunt? Maybe try to go 1-3 to have an opportunity for Russ to go on a run in the middle of the season. Do something he's not very good at because he's normally a first-half QB. But overall, very bad for the Seahawks. That was the one piece of their offense they couldn't afford to lose. Russ is the guy that just always made it work no matter what, and now he's gone. As for Saquon, Daniel Jones, and Kenny Galladay, I'll just say them in a pair because that's what they are. That's just the entire Giants' offensive core. There's no way around that. Daniel Jones have been gradually improving. Saquon Barkley is probably done for at least a month. That was your number one running back. And Galladay is the big free agent money guy. So the Giants will continue this slide down. I don't know what this means. A lot of jobs are probably going to be lost in the offseason because this was a big year for the Giants. They needed to at least improve, and they really haven't. So concerning stuff there. Ragnow just sucks. He was the best center in the league, and now he's done for the year. It really sucks that this had to happen to him. He's been having a solid year. He just got paid the big money, but luckily he'll be back to rehab and hopefully brighter times in the great city of Detroit. Next up, we got Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, which is the Chiefs. They have a couple running backs. His explosiveness will be missed, but overall, I think the Chiefs are just going to have to pass more. They're already so much in the bread in so many other areas on the team, defense, and other parts, that Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is the least of their worries right now. And Juju hasn't done much this year. He's still a big name, but Claypool and Deontay Johnson have kind of already buried him. He's not number 1 or 2 anymore. So I think there will be some impact, but not a lot. And of course, the legend Taysom Hill. This is devastating. Taysom Hill was kind of the do-it-all for the Saints. He could do whatever they asked him to do. He could be their starting tight end, wide receiver, quarterback, and it kind of just takes away that trick card that Sean Payton always likes to keep in his pocket when it comes to the offense. But overall, brutal week for injuries. Hope everyone gets back to the field soon. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I mean, everyone's basically covered all of them. I'm just going to say Wilson was the biggest injury of this week, especially being on a team like the Seahawks where he covered up a lot of their flaws and made them look at least presentable. Because now, I don't even know if they're going to win more games because their defense is Swiss cheese. They have receivers who like to drop ball. And, yeah, so Wilson's going to expose a lot about the offense with his being gone for 6 to 8 weeks. I gotta think about the other injuries. Taysom Hill, yeah, I think this may be like the ending of his career because he was the Swiss Army knife for the team and now he can't be used. So that's not good. And let's see, Juju, this was really his proving year. He had to prove the haters wrong, which he didn't do. And now he'll probably just should have been going off to another team to show off his dominance and get his money while he could instead of staying in Pittsburgh. And Kenny Golladay, Daniel Jones, and Saquon. Saquon, I think his career is basically over by now. There's too many injuries for him to come back. Kenny Golladay was the big money free agent, and Daniel Jones has a concussion, so I think Dave Gettleman's going to be gone by the end of the season with the way that the Giants are going. So, yeah, that's my take.
All right. Our last story of today. Jack will be taking over. Jack, what is it?
Stephon Gilmore was traded to the Panthers last week for a 6th-round pick. I guess I'll open it up since I'm taking the first part of the story. Panthers, good job. Pat on the back. Gilmore is injury-prone, which isn't great, but it's a 6th-round pick. You just took a flyer. You rolled the dice, and if Gilmore comes back in at least half of the All-Pro form, it'll be a worthy risk-reward payoff for your defense, which is already drastic improvements this season. It is really good. The Panthers' problem right now is not the defense. They've kept them in the Eagles game for the most part up until the collapse right at the end, which had a lot to do with Sam Darnold and the O-line, not necessarily the Panthers' defense. So getting Gilmore on the Panthers' defense will just make it more lethal. And overall, once CMC is back, I think the Panthers will start to get back on track. Hopefully, their defense just got a lot scarier if Gilmore can come back healthy. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I think that Gilmore's going to be back week 7. So if J.C. Horn was here, I would be like, this is great for J.C. Horn's development. But they really need Gilmore to come back sooner because that defense has been looking solid with Brian Burns and all of them, but they have taken a huge step back these last 2 weeks. I think that having Gilmore as an additional piece will be so good for their defense. So, yeah. Josh?
I just gotta congratulate the Panthers on how fast they've rebuilt their team because they went from having J.C. Horn out and no corners to now having 2 really solid corners in C.J. Henderson and former Defensive Player of the Year Stephon Gilmore. So they've rebuilt their team faster than probably Bengal could even do with a Madden franchise. So, good job, Panthers. You really outdid yourself with this one. And I think that in a couple of years, you guys may be playoff contenders, maybe Super Bowl contenders.
Alright, well that does it for our video today. If you want us to do more news, please like the video. If they like the video, what do they do next, Josh?
Don't forget to hit that like button because you're probably already subscribed, so hit that like button. And news is back because we had enough news to do it this week, and we want to thank all y'all for watching. This has been a very fun season, and we'll just keep on getting more. In the off season, we may be doing some XFL content, so be on the lookout. But let's keep going through the season. I've been Josh from Frontline Football, and Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FrontlineFB. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, subscribe, do all that. And one thing, you can leave a comment of what do you think Marcus Maye's trade value is as of right now, if you want, just to see what your guys' thoughts are. But we'll see you guys back here next week with predictions and maybe another news video.
Bye.
See ya.